I went down as carefully as I could to make sure I didn't drop Anko's head. The air felt damp and cold. I wonder if it was Cyan who did something. Because the royal family members, they just suddenly started dying out of nowhere. Like the king, he literally turned into a ball of flesh and... Yeah, a ball of flesh. An inhuman ball of flesh. Oh, hello, Rice Bits! I've been good, thank you. Good to see ya. Welcome in. We're playing Virtue Evermore, and I'm so happy 2 of my favorite characters who we thought were dead are actually alive. I literally screamed into the mic. No, not these 2. We're making our way toward them. But they are 2 pretty people. You'll see. I'll introduce you. We found ourselves in a narrow passage with a strange colored water flowing at our feet. Don't drink, it's probably toxic. What the? I never knew this underground passage existed beneath the Arpachel. One of them. According to the butler, it was originally built hundreds of years ago as an emergency escape route from the castle. It seems a certain man encouraged the royal family to spend decades rebuilding it. Rather than an underground passage or a waterway. It does. I thought that at first too when we first saw this place in a different route. Like the pipes, they look like veins. And whatever those things are there, they look like, I don't know what they're called, but I've seen them in the anime Cells at Work. But it gives a strange feeling of like the inside of a human body. It's very unnerving. You're right. That description is really fitting. Adolf looked around to make sure we were alone, then gave a nod. We're gonna meet up with you guys before anyone finds out we're down here. We'll come and get you once you're nearby. Just be careful on your way over, okay? Okay. We waded through the ankle-deep water as we followed Cyan's instructions. During that time, we exchanged all the information we had. Yves's mission, my innate abilities, and the source of the chorus spewing toxins that contaminated the soil. The memory crash that occurred when someone experienced strong love. How Barreau was actually Lucas, which we don't know if he's actually alive still. But we can hope. Preferably not insane like he was earlier. How Capuchin was the one who inspired the royal family to take action. Their past crimes and current objective. And about Anko. possessing a mysterious power of immortality. We also let everyone know that Adolf was actually the second person from the outside world.
セレスがイコリスの化身で、アドルフが第二の漂流者。
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So Ceres is the incarnation of the Lycorises. And Adolf's the second drifter? My
こと
child!
じゃないですよ。イブさんだって第一の漂流者の子孫なんですよね。
That's the other one. He is my child in this game. It's not just him. Yves is a descendant of the first drifter, too.
すごい。なんだかおとぎ話を聞いているような気分になってき
I
ま
mean,
し
it
た。
kind of is, so. Wow. It almost feels like I'm listening to a fairy tale.
運が悪かったな。あいつよりも先に俺がこいつらの細胞と血液を入手していれば。
Yeah, but... Guess we were unlucky. If I got a blood sample from you before that, Wretch, I could have worked a miracle. But he could. He's very much a genius. He's the only reason the citizens are alive now. You sound surprisingly calm, Cyan.
あんたのことだ。カプシーヌたちのように目の色を変えて、俺とこいつを研究対象に従うと思ってた。
I figured you would have gone insane like Capuchin and forced us into being test subjects.
したいに決まっているだろうが。だが研究所の権限を奪われた状態では実験も何もないからな。
Of course I want to test on you too. But there's nothing I can do now that my rights to the Institute have been revoked.
今のところは味方として害を与えるような真似はしない。無論奪還後の安全は保証せんが。
As your ally, I won't do anything to harm you. Of course, I can't guarantee your safety after we recapture the facility.
いっそすがすがしいな。
At least, but, you know, hey. At least you're being honest. As we continued our conversation, I took notice of all the equipment strewn about the passage. There's a lot of equipment here that looks like the same ones from the institutes.
ああ、それ本当に研究所にあったものらしいよ。
Yeah, I heard those were all used in the laboratories up there. Dang. Huh?
廃棄された機材が横流しされ、この通路の改造やバカどもへの研究に利用されていたらしい。
Where does he discard the equipment anyway? Just anywhere? Is it like his room? He just throws things places? Don't need it. Chuck. The discarded equipment seems to have been used for rebuilding the passage and the research of idiots.
ここで俺の通信を補佐している色ボケ羊もその一人だ。
One of those idiots is the butler assisting me with a transmission. He's pretty, but I'm not exactly, He could have died and I would care. Previously, he experimented on my child. My little baby Malthus. Stuffed foreign memories into him. Tested the ability for him to love our character through every different personality, like abusive ones, like ones that just don't give a fuck. It was very messed up. It was very messed up. So I can never forgive him for that. I can never forgive him for putting Mathers through that. Huh?
さっきからジャンの様子がおかしいが、何があった？
Jean's been acting strange for a while now. What's going on?
簡単に説明しますと、
I'll try to keep this short. Mathis began explaining, while Jean remained silent.
今お二人が通ってる地下通路は僕たちが追っていた一連の事件の真犯人や黒幕の拠点につながっているようなんです。
They're gorgeous. I really love the character design of the all these here in the game. Oh, that makes me happy. You're gonna really enjoy it. I won't reveal anything else. I'll let you discover things for your own. The passage is connected to a number of locations, including where the masterminds orchestrated the incidents. The masterminds?
変死事件を先導した王族が住んでいる謁見の間。
The audience room of the royal family who caused the suicides.
ブローを操り猟奇殺人事件を引き起こしたカプシーヌが運営する病院の地下研究所。
The laboratory under the hospital managed by Capuchin, who used Barreau for the murders.
そして残るは
The remaining location is related to the missing prostitutes.
おい、さっきこの通路がクロード家の地下につながっていると言っていたな。ということは
Which is a bit late to say this, but we're near endgame, so but if you don't mind that, then you know. Hey, you said that this passage is connected to the Claude family basements, which means I heard a heavy sigh from the transmitter.
はいはい、そうですよ。このクロード家の執事ジャンメこそが。
Okay, okay. Because if it did, I don't want to ruin anything for you. Fine, yes, you're absolutely right. Jean is the butler of the Claude family.
裏若き娘をさらってはホムンクルスと偽物の記憶の作成実験に使ってた事件の真犯人ですよ。
Abducted the prostitutes and used them in experiments to create a homunculus with false memories. Yeah. What? Look, I'll be happy if someone at least punches him. At least. He seemed to give up as he explained in detail how he was working to revive his lost love. He stole backup data from the institutes and created false memories from multiple people. His plan was to download the false memory into embryonic cells from the prostitutes he abducted and revive his beloved Rosalie.
カプシーヌと王族たちの目的をあんたは知っていたのか？
Did Cappuccino and the royal family know what you were planning?
ああ、知ってたよ。向こうも人工的に作れる記憶に興味を抱いてたからな。
Yeah, they did. In fact, they wanted my research on creating artificial memories.
設備とかを支援してもらうのを条件に研究成果やデータを送ってたんだ。
I was sending them research data in exchange for their supports and the equipment that I needed.
なるほどな。ただ命令されて研究していたわけではなく。
I see. So it's not like everyone was ordered to conduct their research.
犯人たちにもそれぞれ思惑があり、研究成果の共有が自分の益になっていたわけか。
Yes. Everyone had their own objectives. All very messed up ones. Each person involved had their own objective, and it just so happened that sharing information worked for all parties. Are you alright, Mathis? The butler that he looked up to as a brother was actually a criminal. I could only imagine what he was going through now.
心配してくれてありがとうございます。大丈夫とは言えませんか。
Thank you very much for your concern. I can't say I'm completely fine, but
今だけは割り切らなきゃいけないって分かってますから。
I also understand that I need to accept what happened and move on. He's such a strong boy. I want to give him a hug. I really do. I want to give him a hug.
僕が今ここでジャンを責め立てたところでお二人の脱出の邪魔になるだけです。
After all, blaming Gene for everything he's done won't help you to escape. I see. Shut up.
完全に開き直ってるな。自分の犯行を後悔してないのか？
You're taking this all pretty lightly. Don't you regret what you've done?
別に。俺が最も大切に思うのは最愛の恋人ロザリーだ。それ以外の人間の命なんて使い捨ての消耗品同然だね。
I'm fine. Not at all. The only thing in my mind is my beloved Rosalie. Every other person is expendable. That I can do without.
とまあいかにも悪党ぶってるが、この男。
As you can hear, he's doing his best impression of a villain.
無様なことにその恋人とやらの死体を人質に取られ、研究成果も丸ごと奪われたらしい。
Unfortunately, not only was his beloved taken away, but so were his research results.
その手の同盟には裏切りや思惑がつきものだろうに。なんとも爪の甘い坊ちゃんだ。
Alliances like those are filled with ulterior motives and deception. So in actuality, he's just a sweet boy, sweet trusting boy.
悪かったな。
Well, sorry. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. There's so much new information that I'm confused.
同感だ。
Same here.
だよね。じゃあシアンさんたちが生きている理由から順に状況を説明していこうか。
Yes, please explain. Please explain, Precious. He is a precious boy. I am happy he is alive. He is too pure for this world. Now, let me explain how Cyan made it out alive. I could hear Yves crack his knuckles before he began. Ooh. Alright, give me all the details. Give me the deets. It all began that night, back when the plan to capture Barreau failed. After parting ways with Yves, Cyan and Mathis fled to the Claude family mansion. For some reason, his butler Jean was nowhere to be found. Sensing something wasn't right, Mathis quickly ran through the mansion looking for him when... Yeah. Barreau, or rather, the original Lucas Proust, who came after Cyan, barged into the mansion. But for some reason, he didn't attack Cyan. Instead, he gave him a hug. Imagine that. Imagine if he did. That's kind of entertaining to imagine. Why?
一体何が正しいのか
What is right?
私にはわからない
And what is wrong? I don't know anymore.
誰か
Someone,
助けてくれ
please help.
誰をだ？
Who is it?
面倒だな。二度も言わせるな。俺に誰を助けてほしいんだと聞いている。
See, he's bright. One of the reasons I like him. Don't make me repeat myself. I'm asking who it is you want to save.
お前か？それとも別の人間か？
Is it you or someone else?
あの
お前のような殺人鬼を助ける義理はないが、ここで肉塊にされるのはさすがに遠慮したいからな。
I have no reason to help a killer, but at the same time I don't want to be reduced to a lump of flesh.
俺たちの味方につくというのなら考えてやらんでもない。
I can consider offering your help, if you come to our side. Hearing Cyan's confident voice, Lucas's hollow eyes shook.
助けてください
Please help.
私の妹うちの病を抱えるナディア
Nadia, I love Nadia. No, Nadia is the most precious thing in this game. There's too many precious things in this game. Damn it. My younger sister, Nadia, has an incurable disease. Covered in blood, he bowed his head down to Cyan.
顔を上げろ。
Raise your head. Lucas's eyes were unfocused, and he stammered through his speech. Cyan could immediately tell that he wasn't in his right mind, and came to a quick conclusion.
洗脳、催眠、瞳孔も開いているし、ろくでもない薬も投与されてるな。
Brainwashed and hypnotized. His eyes are dilated, so I can only assume he's been badly drugged. Cyan was correct. Lucas had been thoroughly drugged, and only able to speak by pushing through the last bit of his sanity.
セレス君とあの少年の言葉で私は
He's going through
諦
it.
められなくなってしまった。
Ceres, that young man's words, I couldn't give up after hearing them.
まだ私にはあの子に教えたいことや見せたいものがたくさんあるんです。
I do want them to be happy. I still have much to show and teach my precious younger sister.
だからその場しのぎの延命ではなく
So please, I don't want her to only live, but
ナディアの病を感知させて
I want Nadia to be healed completely. And I do too.
人並みの命と青空の下で笑う権利をあの子にください。
Please give her a normal life. And a reason to smile under the blue sky.
あの少年だけでは難しい奇跡もあなた
I'm gonna guess the young man is donuts.
シアンブロフィワーズとなら
That young man said, no matter the miracle, you, Cyan Brofice, with you,
と
he could make it
起こせ
happen.
るはずだから。
I feel bad. I'm angry at him for all the times he killed some of my favorite characters, but at the same time, I want him and Natty to be happy. But I also feel really bad for his situation.
もういい。分かったからもう喋るな。
Fine, stop talking already. Cyan accepted a little cry for help from Lucas, who held his head in pain. But Lucas's sanity wasn't gonna last much longer. The next time they met, his hypnotic state could be worse, making him forget about their deal. Mathis burned with anger at Barreau's appearance, but Cyan forced Mathis into compliance. And with that, Cyan obtained crucial information from Lucas. They then decided they would fake their death and go into hiding. So after Lucas left, they used the dummies from the original plan to lure out Barreau and make it look like they were both killed. They hid in the Cloud family mansion, attic, until the mastermind could be determined, but then...
くそ、ロザリー。
Damn it, Rosalie.
守ってやれなくて。ごめん。
I'm sorry I couldn't protect you.
John!
Leave him. Just leave him. It's okay. Leave him. You don't need him. the missing butler Jean suddenly appeared in a horrible state. After tending to his wounds, they found out that he was behind the missing prostitutes and using them for his research. They came to an agreement to work together until they could recover Rosalie's body. It was then that Cyan and Mathis found out about the passage under the mansion that connected to the laboratory.
De、その地下設備を使って研究所の情報を抜き取ったりと反撃の機会を伺ってたわけ。
So we used it to get whatever information we could from the institutes, and we're waiting for the opportunity to retaliate.
あとは君も知っての通り、アンクーの回収を命じられた先生に俺が遭遇しちゃったんだけど。
You two know this, but Lucas was ordered to bring back the body of Anko, who I happened to encounter.
先生、かろうじて正気が残ってたみたいで。
Luckily for me, he had a little bit of sanity left.
手刀で気絶させるだけにとどめてくれたんだ。ただ加減を間違えたのか、首の骨が折れるかと思ったけどね。
So he only knocked me out with a single hit. I seriously thought my neck was broken. So, all that blood around the area was...
アンクーをバラバラにした時の返り血が俺にもかかったんじゃないかな。
I don't know, but I'm guessing it must have been whatever blood got on me when he cut Anko into pieces. Thank goodness. Later, when Yves regained consciousness, he hurried to town. After Yves heard that we were caught, he was contacted via transmitter by Cyan, who had heard the same announcement. So they began working with the corpse to find an opportunity to save us. You all went through so much. I'm just glad you're all safe.
よくマティスが仇であるブローとの同盟にうなずいたな。
I'm surprised you actually agreed to work with Barreau, Mathis.
ああ、はい。ちょっと他にもいろいろあって、恨む理由が消えちゃったというか。
Because there was really no point to the grudge in the first place. Is basically what it is. Yes, well, I learned some other things that got rid of the grudge I had against him.
ナディアさんの件もありますし、
Oh wait, no, I thought... Oh.
復讐のことは一度忘れようと思ってます。
I thought they were gonna say they also have Nadia with them. I was excited. We also have Nadia to worry about. So I figured it was best for me to redirect my focus. I could tell by the tone of his voice that Mathis was trying to convince himself. But his voice sounded awfully sad. The underground passage we were going through was like a maze, like wandering inside the veins of someone else's body. It shouldn't have taken us so long to get from Sarnaval to Chedex, but the way there was so convoluted and strenuous. In fact, the passage was so complicated that Cyan only knew the way from Sarnaval to Cloud Family Mansion.
それにしてもお前たちの存在だけでも大概だというのに。
I have to admit, the significance of you two is significant enough, but...
冥界から来た死の番人アンクが今お前の手元にいるんだったか。
The Watchman of Death, who came from Hades, Anko was it? He's with you right now, isn't he? Yes. Only his head, though. He did wake up once, but I think he's still alive.
肉塊になっても動けると言ってたくせに根性がないな。
I expected more from the guy who taunted me about his ability to regenerate.
とんでもない単語しか並んでない会話だな。
You know, it sounds like something out of sci-fi. This conversation's sounding pretty ridiculous.
非現実的だな。くだらん。
I'm not interested in fantasy either. I could hear you Bess in the background, insisting that everything was real.
正真正銘アンクーはこの国にリコリスを植えた張本人で
I can vouch that Anko really is the person who introduced Lycoris to the country.
俺の始祖様と契約を交わした友人です。本人にちゃんと確認も取りました。
He's a friend of my ancestors, and they made a contract. Anko said so himself.
でも不老不死なんて僕も小説の中でしか読んだことがありませんから。
But I've only ever read about immortality from stories and novels.
シアンさんが簡単に信じられない気持ちもわかる気が。
So I'm not surprised to hear that Cyan doesn't believe in them.
は？何を的外れなことを言っている？
You couldn't be any more wrong.
え？
Mathis and everyone listening. On wisdom founded by Cyan's response.
不老不死は将来的に実現可能な技術だぞ。非現実どころか現実性しかない。
Oh, okay. I mean, if he says so. But even if it is possible, I feel like it would be hard. And also something you probably morally shouldn't do. Immortality can be possible through technology. As far as the concept goes, it's not unrealistic.
現に俺のリライバー技術ではすでに不老を実現しているだろう。
The Reliver technology I developed has already mastered eternal youth. Okay, he has a point there, yeah.
ああ、言われてみればそうだな。
Now that you mention it. Becoming a Reliver means that you'll continue living at the same physical age.
シアンさんならアンクーに頼らなくても不死まで実現させそうだよね。
Knowing Cyan, I wouldn't be surprised if he could figure out the eternal life part without Anko's help.
でも今非現実的って
But you said it was a fantasy earlier.
俺がくだらんと言ったのは死の番人などという痛々しい肩書きの方だ。
That's a little surprising. I thought he would have been interested in that. Because it's something new. And he apparently gets bored easily. What I meant is that I'm not interested in this Watchman to Death title. What do you mean?
なんだ小娘。自分の正体を知らされてもなお、そいつの嘘に気づいていないのか。
What? You've been told about who you are, and you still haven't noticed his lie? Lie?
こっちは仮にも逃亡中の身だぞ。情報共有以外の会話は最低限に留めておきたい。
Hey, we're trying to escape here. We should keep our conversation to a minimum apart from sharing useful information.
言いたいことがあるなら遠回しにせずはっきり言え。
If there's something you want to say, stop beating around the bush and just say it.
遠回しにしたつもりなどないが。まあいい。この分だと気づいているのは首謀者のあいつぐらいだろうからな。
I wasn't beating around a bush, but fine. He must be the only one who knows everything.
再確認だ、小娘。お前の正体はリコリス・ノワージュの性質を持つ科学的に証明された死神。
The Death Maiden was scientifically proven to be the death for possessing traits of the Lycoris Neurges, correct?
であれば、なぜその暗空とやらはお前の
If so, then why is the uncle you speak of? Oh, the thing's happening again. They're censoring Cyan! Huh? Cyan?
通信が切れたみたいだな。
Sounds like the transmitter ended. God damn it, God. Adolf fidgeted with the now silent transmitter, but nothing changed.
壊れたわけじゃないな。これだけ深い地下ともなると通信もつながりにくいのか。
Doesn't seem like it's broken. I guess being down here is messing with the transmission somehow. What should we do? Without Cyan's help, we won't know which way to go.
復旧するかもわからないものを待っていたらカプシーヌたちに追いつかれるだろうな。
Waiting for them to connect again will put us at risk of being found by Capuchin. Oh, the ocean? As I thought for a moment, I suddenly felt a gentle breeze from ahead, blowing through my hair. Seeing my hair sway in the breeze, Adolf nodded.
一か八か。風が吹いてくる方向に向かってみるか。
We'll find out one way or another. Let's head toward the wind. Okay. Maybe it's the way out. Staying down here won't accomplish anything. And we couldn't risk being captured by Capuchin's men. We continued through the passage for another hour or so, our clothes soaked and heavy. We finally arrived at the source of the wind. We found ourselves in a dark space with hardly any light at all. I don't know if this is good or bad.
通信が切れた。いや、あいつに遮断されたな。
Looks like the communication was cut. No, I bet he terminated the connection. Upon confirming that the connection with Adolf was terminated, Cyan put on his lab coats and stood up.
出るぞクルーン。クロード家の末っ子。
Let's go, Kroon. You too, youngest Claude.
予定地点からはまだ遠いが、どうにかしてあいつらを見つけ出し合流する。
They're still some distance from us, but we'll have to find and bring them back ourselves.
はい。
執事はここに残り通信が復旧するか試し続けろ。
Butler, you stay behind and check to see if the transmission can connect.
はいはい。もしロザリーの体を見つけたら何が何でも取り戻してきてくれ。
Fine, fine. If you find Rosalie down there, do whatever you can to bring her back.
断る。最優先はあの二人の確保だ。まかり間違ってもあいつに引き渡すわけにはいかない。
No. Our priority is to secure those two first. We can't afford them to be taken away by him.
まったく。遮断用の電波まで準備するとは用意周到なことだ。
Damn it. He even prepared a way to block transmissions.
その生真面目さを普段の仕事に生かせばいいもの。
If only he actually spent that effort at work. Cyan muttered his complaints. Yves sensed something odd about it.
シアンさん。
Cyan?
シアンさんはカプシーヌ、オーティを追放してから何十年も会っていなかった。いえ、行方を知らなかったんですよね。
You haven't seen Capuchin Orty, since you kicked him out all those years ago. No, you don't even know where he went, right?
んそれがどうした？
What about him?
いや、会っていないならどうして普段の仕事なんて頻繁に会っているような言い方をするのかなって。
Well, you mentioned work just now. So it sounds like this person is someone you used to see every day. Now my suspicions are coming back. I mean, it's not impossible, but the only other worker Sign has, that he sees every day is Donuts. Who I previously thought was actually, like, behind the scenes planning all this, like the antagonist of the game. Because there are signs pointing to that as a possibility. But then we found him in the cell, and then he apparently got executed. But what if he never was executed? What if that was all just like a faking? It was being faked? He actually is an evil mastermind. I like Donut. I don't want him to be an evil mastermind. Now you mentioned work just now, so it sounds like this person is someone you used to see every day.
ああ。妙に会話が噛み合わないと思っていたら、そういうことか。
Ah. I was wondering why the conversation wasn't making sense.
お前たち、言っておくが、
Let me tell you this.
オーティは王族やそこの執事をそそのかした首謀者じゃないぞ。
Orty isn't the mastermind who inspired the royal family or that butler into action.
むしろ執事と同じく還元に乗せられた希代のバカの一人だ。
Just like that butler, he's one of those naive idiots tempted by sweet words.
え？
違うんですか？
It can't be him?
でもだってジャンはカプチーノに恋人の遺体を奪われたんだよね。
But Capuchin was the one who took Jean's fiancé away, right?
ああ。でもそれを決めたのはカプシーヌじゃない。
Yeah, but Capuchin was acting on someone else's orders. No.
記憶の研究が完成に近づいた今、
Yeah.
君はもう用済みだと支援者が判断したからだ。
Now that your memory research is nearing completion, our supporter has decided that you are no longer needed.
俺とカプシーヌの研究を支援していた支援者。もう一人協力者がいるって話したろ。
I told you guys there was someone supporting my and Capuchin's research, right?
そういえばリュカ先生もカプシーノは支援者と名乗る人に逆らうことができないって。
Now that you mention it, Lucas also said something about Capuchin not being able to go against his supporter.
だからそれがカプチーヌと通じてる王族の誰かで全てを仕組んだ首謀者じゃ。
No, unfortunately, as much as I want it to be, because that means Donut's innocent, the royal family is full of idiots, so they're not brilliant enough to come up with a plan like this. I thought the real brains behind everything was someone from the royal family using Capuchin to do the bidding.
俺は
Although at the same
そう
time,
認識してた。
that wouldn't be wrong. I mean, it's not right, but it's not wrong. If my theory is correct. That's how I saw it too.
でも 国王たちはカプシーヌからの提案で不老不死になろうとしているんですよね。
But wasn't it Capuchin who offered immortality to the royal family?
んあれ
Huh? Everyone's so confused, and so am I. Yves and the others were all confused. Seeing them with their heads spinning, Lion breathed a heavy sigh.
どっちも違う。
You're all wrong.
間にもう一人別人支援者という一連の実験を計画した首謀者がいるんだ。
There's another supporter involved. The actual supporter pulling the strings behind the scenes. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Cyan told them to calm down and think for a moment.
リライバーになることを禁じられ呪いで死にゆくしかなかったオーティがなぜ生き延びることができたと思う？
Why do you think Orti was able to survive the curse of death when he was barred from becoming a reliver?
ご親切に奴を異なる姿のリライバーとして延命させてやった裏切り者が
See, that was
俺
one
の
of the,
研究所にいたからだ。
that was one of the clues. It's because a traitor from the Institutes went to the trouble of reviving him into a reliver with a different appearance. Cyan mentioned that in his past studies, he was able to create relivers with different appearances. But after doing so only once, he sealed away the entire process. It was through that process that Orti was born as a different person. This supporter not only did that, but also provided the necessary supplies and equipment for him.
でもその場合支援者とカプシーヌは最低でも1回は直接対面してるんですよね。
But if that's the case, it means that the supporter and Capuchin met at least once, right?
なのに一度も名前を出さないなんてさすがにおかしいんじゃ。
So it's weird that he never mentioned his name once before.
名前を出さないんじゃない。思い出せないんだ。
It's not that he doesn't say the name, it's that he can't.
あの技術には脳の記憶媒体にバグを起こしデータの一部を破損させる副作用のようなものがある。
They did say something like that. Yeah, Capuchin did say something like that in the end of Lucas's route. He's like, oh, I know my supporter. I don't know if they're male, female, their name. I can't remember at this point. Something along those lines. Technology causes a bug in the brain and corrupts a part of the memory data stored there. Using genes from another person during the memory transfer caused a mismatch that destroyed a part of their memory. That was the reason it wasn't incorporated into the general reliver process.
その破損された部分が支援者の名前や詳細そのものだったんだろう。だから奴は支援者の正体を語れないし知りもしない。
I assume the memory of his supporter is corrupted, and that's why he doesn't know anything about his name or other details.
欠陥をあえて利用するとはさすがと言うべきか。なかなかどうして面白い発想だ。
I have to admit, it was clever of him to utilize the bug to his benefit. What an interesting way of putting it to good use. Jean spoke in a disgruntled way, having been used by the supporter as well.
そこまでして姿を隠す支援者とやらはどこの誰で目的は何なんだよ。王族と同じ不老不死か。
So why the hell is he so bent on hiding his identity? Does he want to live forever like the royal family too?
不老不死は王族を継る建前だ。
That's just something he said to lure in the royal family.
暗空のような不死の存在の出現を前提としている計画など、運頼りにも程がある。
It's unreasonable to rely on sheer luck to set up a plan, especially when it requires an immortal existence like Anko. That wasn't his true motive. The supporter's true motive was a miracle that could be attained without the need for immortality.
死者の完全なる蘇生。
Yep. So yep, I'm correct, cause they're do not lie. To revive the dead in perfect form.
執事、お前と同じ目的だ。
The same thing you want, Butler. Simon tapped on one of the devices with his finger.
さて、ここまで来れば正体を暴くのは簡単だ。
Now, with all that's been said, it should be easy to deduce who the supporter is.
いるだろう？俺たちの共通の知り合いの中でただ一人。
Think very carefully. There's one person we all know who fits that description.
この羊と同じ目的を堂々と語っていた存在が。
I don't want to be right! He would have spoken boldly about the same motives as the butler. Huh?
それって
Please no, please no, please no. That means someone else who did not have a backup of the person most dear to him. Someone who spoke about wanting to revive her with her emotions and memories intact. Someone who boldly mentioned that he wanted to strengthen memory so that her emotions and memories won't be lost. And
条件を満たし、完璧な状態で蘇らせたその対象を。
someone who now has the means to revive that very person into a perfect state.
死神の呪いを解くことで普通の人間にしてやりたいと願っていたもの。
Who wishes to get rid of Death's curse so that he can revive them as a normal human. There was only one person who had the ability to hack into the system that Cyan developed. Let me guess. We're about to the place we're going into, Cerez and Adolf. They're about to encounter Donut. Being like, oh my, Donut, you're alive! And then Donut's gonna be like, ah ha 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 ha, I'm evil, and stuff like that, and I'm gonna be sad. I'm already sad. The smell of iron filled the air.
Oh no.
Oh no, it was Cian Salome. Or her sister, because that's still also a possibility. Or I might be completely wrong. Why you? How dare you betray us? Why?
お前は王族に復帰するために我らの願いを叶えたのでは。
You return to royalty. You were gonna make us... Okay, so this... What we're hearing, it seems like this could go the other direction. I mean, it's still... I mean, it would change who he is and the part he plays in the game. In the whole everything. But... whether decide... if that he's on evil or good, if he must pick a side. We'd be switching over closer to good. I mean, still not completely good, because he did, in the end, order people to kill people or use people's habits of murdering for scientific research to his advantage. But I mean, look, I'll accept it if that's the case. Just, I like him. I don't want him to betray us. I'll settle if he's doing evil things for a good reason. I'll settle. I heard groaning and railing coming from the two who were at the verge of death. Now this is a new place. The lights turned on to brighten the area. On the floor were torn limbs, strewn throughout. Okay, we're starting to move back down to the other side, the red side of the I saw pulsating flesh, masses, that looked like multiple dolls were randomly patched together. Inside the eerily glowing tank, bodies spewing blood that covered them in black were dying a slow death. Some were falling apart into pieces. However, within a few seconds, the bodies came back to life, no matter how disformed their bodies became. Hideously, gruesomely. The bodies were screaming in pain beyond belief. Ever dying, ever reviving. The royal family, who had brought suffering upon us all, were trapped inside. One of them saw us and reached his hand out for help, but as if being punished, his body turned a black soot and he died. But a few seconds later, he was unwillingly revived. It reminds me of that, there's this anime called, oh gosh, what's this? It's a long name, but, it's like Anos Goldivold is the character's name. Something like that. Something Demon King. But there's a scene in like one of the first episodes where he kills a guy, brings him back to life, kills a guy, brings him back to life, kills the guy, brings him back to life. That's reminding me of this. Or this reminded me of that. Although this one is much more gruesome. I could hear them all screaming for death from inside their tanks. Yeah.
殺してくれ。
Did you say kill me? In the center of the room, lit by the light coming from the tanks, a single figure stood elegantly.
嫌だなあ。冗談きつい。ずっと不老不死になりたくて仕方なかったんでしょ
Oh, come now. You must be joking. Didn't you always say you wanted to live eternally?
やっと願いが叶ったんだから。もっともっと明るく可愛い笑顔で喜ばないと。
Well, your dreams have finally come true. So you should put a bright and happy smile.
それともまだまだ不老不死になった実感が足りない？
Or maybe you want to fully experience what it means to live an immortal life.
じゃ
I was right!
あもっ
Fuck!
ともっと殺して殺して殺し尽くして。
Well, if that's the case, I'll need to kill you over and over again.
苦しみながら死に絶えた記憶と感情を保持したまま
I'll
また
have you
蘇
feel the
ら
pain
せて
that
あげ
comes
ないと
from
ね。
dying. And return you to life with your memories and emotions intact. Very sadistic, but I mean... they did kill his family, so... they did kill his mother and father. So, I mean, I guess... it makes sense. It's not right, but it makes sense. And I will admit they do kind of deserve it. But it's not right. Which is why I'm very conflicted on being okay with this or not being okay with this. But fuck! Before the royal could let out a scream, he burst into nothing inside the tank. The person who was causing all this was beautiful and graceful. He turned around and bowed to us, his long hair and lab coat swaying.
僕の秘密の研究室へようこそ。第二の漂流者。
Welcome to my secret laboratory, Second Drifter, and...
そしてリコリス・ノワージュの姫君。
the Lycra's Niorge Princess.
母様が死んだのと同じリコリスの花畑で生まれてきてくれてありがとう。
Thank you so very much for coming into this world in the Lycra's field where my dear mother passed away.
その力で失ったはずの母様の遺伝子をすくい上げてくれてありがとう。
Thank you so very much for saving my mother's genes, which would have been lost without your powers. How did you... Unless her mother is your mother. Unless you're the siblings. Unless that's the family connection that I had, because I did suspect a family connection between certain characters, but... I guess it's wrong.
その奇跡に感謝と敬意を
But I need more
表し
emphasis on that little part there, because I don't understand.
改めて本当の自己紹介。
With gratitude and respect for that miracle, let me introduce myself again.
我が名はリアム・レーブ・ポワール。
My name is Liam Wiverpaw.
こいつらに暗殺されたメイククリスティーヌ・レーブ・ポワールが第一子にして
I am the first son of Christine Wiverpaw, the virtuous ruler who was assassinated by these maggots.
絶対不可の神の御業が一つ
死者の蘇生を実現し
I've accomplished the divine miracle of resurrecting the dead.
同時に化け物だらけのこのアルペシエールを裁き滅ぼす
I am the one who will bring this monstrous country of Arbachel to justice as its last king.
「命とは本来一人に対し一つしかない儚くも美しい灯火」
Life was originally meant to be lived but once, as beautiful and fleeting as candlelight. My late mother, the Queen Christine Weveprar. There were few people who remembered her name now.
神の長寿がもたらした奇跡にすがり使い捨ての資源にしてはならない
We must not cling to the miracle we were granted while wasting the gift it represents.
彼が救ってくれた命と時間に感謝し呪いに屈さず呪いに抗い
We must appreciate the time we were given, not to accept the curse but to fight it.
普通の人間としてのあり方と尊厳を我々は死神から取り戻すべきだ
We must restore the dignity of normal human life. We must reclaim what we lost to death. She worked around the clock to learn the truth behind death's curse and sought to return a normal way of life to her people. She was the only benevolent ruler within the Arpachel royal family, which had long been consumed by rot. And to me, she was...
母様、僕、母様のあったかい手が大好きです。
Mother, I like your warm hands a lot.
だからずっと握ってて。僕が眠った後も離しちゃダメですよ。
So always hold my hand, please. Even after I fall asleep, don't let go, okay?
わかったわ。今日は母様と一緒に手をつないで眠りましょう。
Why, of course. Shall I hold your hand now while we get ready for bed?
ずいぶん大きくなったのに、まだまだ甘えん坊さんね。こんな調子で立派な王様になれるのかしら。
You've grown so much. But perhaps I should not dote on you, so... I worry whether you would grow up to be a good king.
なります。なってみせます。きっと母様みたいな。
I will. I'll be a great king. I'll be just like you, Mother. Yes, just like you, Mother. Exactly like you. Switches back to his current states, current surroundings. Just what your mother always wanted. I'm sure she's proud.
たくさんの人の命を大事にする優しくて強い王様に。
I'll be a kind and strong king who takes care of everyone's lives. She was the kindest mother in the world. Even if she lost to time and had to become a reliver, she never lost the faith she had inside her heart. She continued investigating on her own to try to save the country from the curse. I, Liam Wivapur, as her son and the crown prince, I loved and respected her from the bottom of my heart, knowing how much she respected life. I would follow her wherever I could, learning what it meant to be a good ruler.
命を大事にしなきゃいけないというのもあるけれど。
Of course, we need to respect and take care of our lives, but...
実はね、私が呪いを解きたい理由はもう一つあるの。
To be honest, there's one other reason why I wish to get rid of the curse.
あなたと 大切な人とつないだ手と感情を失いたくないから。
I don't want to lose the feelings of holding your hands or the love I feel for you in my heart.
だからリライバーにも頼らずにこの体で長生きする方法を探してるの。他の人には内緒よ、リアム。
That's why I'm trying to find a way to live in this body without becoming a reliver. Will you keep my secret, Liam? She told me about what kind of life we could live if we had normal human bodies. The bedtime stories she told me filled my heart with excitement. I felt sad that my father passed away before I was born, but I believed that I was surrounded by loving family like my grand uncle, who watched over her sacred mission. I wanted to grow up as soon as possible, so I could assist my mother with her divine duty. I studied through the nights, reflecting on the sanctity of life that she taught me. But when I was 5 years old, we were betrayed by the family I thought was good. My mother was assassinated. Nearly all of them were involved in the plan, including my great-uncle and my aunts, both of whom pretended to support her mission.
まったく恐ろしい女だ。下手に死神の怒りに触れなどして呪いが悪化したらどうしてくれる。
What a horrible woman you are. What would you have done if you got on the wrong side of death and made the curse stronger?
次期国王としてレーブ・ポワールを危険に陥れる存在を生かしておくわけにはいかない。
As the next king, I cannot allow a threat to the Riverpower family to exist any longer.
逃げなさい、リアム。
Run, Liam.
私なら大丈夫だから。少しの間、あなたにお留守番をさせてしまうけれど。
I'll be okay. You have to be strong by yourself for a while, but...
帰ってきたらまた手をつないで一緒に眠ってあげる。だから。
Once I come back, I'll hold your hand and tell you another bedtime story. So...
生きなさい。普通に生きることを諦めないで。
Live! Don't give up on a normal life. I get it in One Piece flashbacks of Robin's backstory. It ain't sloppy.
やめてください、おじさま。
Please stop, Grand Uncle.
命はたった一つしかない。大切にしなきゃいけないものじゃなかったの？
They don't think so. Shouldn't we respect and cherish the one life that everyone is given? My mother was shackled and cruelly tortured before my eyes. In the end, she was discarded in the field of Lycoris Neoshes. I should have been killed then too, but...
女王と王子が同時に死亡しては間違いなく国民から暗殺を疑われるでしょう。
But people will suspect the royal family if both the queen and prince are killed at the same time.
特に女王と対等な関係を築いていたシアン・ブロフィワーズと対立することだけは避けねばなりません。
Above all else, you must avoid making enemies of Cyan Brothies, who has built an equal relationship with the queen.
ですからどうか。
So please.
私の大切な友の子にあと1年生き延びる権利を。
Please grant another year to my dear friend's child. Please allow him to live. The civil officer who served my mother, the head of the Claude family, pleaded for mercy. Oh, interesting. That's just an interesting connection. I was given another year to live, on the condition that I remain in prison like a criminal. During that time, no one came to save me. The civil officer who saved my life and the royal guard officer who swore allegiance to my mother, both had turned their backs on their Witherpar family, leaving the castle as well as their positions. During the year I was given, I remembered my mother's desperation for me to live and refused to kill myself. My uncle tortured me as a pastime over and over and over again, all of which I endured. After he cut off the hand my dear mother used to hold, they decided to execute me as the son of the woman who put this country at risk.
まあ処刑前日に命からがら逃げ出してご覧の通り生きているんですけど。
But lo and behold, I escaped with my life the day before my execution, and I'm still alive today. However,
母様
Mother, I couldn't forget about my dear mother. Knowing that she perished before she could realize her dream, I wanted to bring her back. But if I were to do so, I knew she would be pleased if I revived her the way she always wanted. As a normal human, like the ones in the outside world, who treated their lives with respect and dignity. I didn't have time to wallow in despair, so I did everything I could. I ran away into the slums with my dismembered arms and restarted my life from the very bottom. First, I burned my face with as much fire as I could take in order to hide my identity. I stole, killed, and everything in between for the sake of survival. One day, a man from Cheddars pitied my existence and took me in as a foster child. I lived my days there until I turned 15 years old. I cried and wept as I returned his kindness with a swift death. Why? With the wealth I inherited, I became a reliver and restored my right arm to start a new life anew as Donut. After studying like crazy, I was welcomed into the Institute as a genius second only to Zion. Even after becoming a researcher, I never stopped studying and continued to climb the ranks until I became deputy director. Finally, I was able to begin research into what I hoped would eventually bring my mother back to life. Of course, bringing someone back into complete human form was a dream that I couldn't be achieved easily, especially without their backup data. I did come up with a method, but it involved too many different areas of study, as well as requiring extensive time and resources.
そこで僕は支援者と名乗り、形や事情は違えど、命に執着する人材を集めに集め、研究を分担することにしました。
I then became a supporter, enlisting the brains of those obsessed with specific aspects of life to assist with my research. I also needed a base of operations, so I had the royal family build this facility for me to use. When I revealed my identity to the royal family, they immediately tried to kill me, but
シアンさんの失脚と不老不死を餌にしたら、すぐ手のひらを返して協力してくれましたよ。
I tempted them with both immortality and Zion's fall from power, and they quickly came to my side. The rest you already know. I wanted my loving mother back, body and soul, in order for me to bring her back to life as a normal human like she wanted? I'm not sure if she'd be proud of you.
とっても優秀な駒の皆さんと共に日々切磋琢磨し続けたわけです。
I spent my days working with talented pawns like you two, from whom I learned so much.
ああ、ちなみにリュカさんが生まれた後、彼を暗殺者候補としてカプシーヌに紹介したのも僕ですね。
Oh, and for the record, I was the one who alerted Cappuccino of Lucas so that he might train him as an assassin.
彼のお父さんは僕の母を護衛していたとっても優秀な近衛兵だったので。
His father was a super skilled Royal Guard officer who guarded my mother.
その息子さんもさぞかし強いんだろうなって。母を守れなかった意趣返しも兼ねて。
So I figured his son would be super strong, too. Figured he owed me that much for not protecting my mother in the end.
いや、でもまさか本当に呪いまで解くことが可能になるなんて。
Man, I never thought it was actually possible to break the curse.
お二人との出会いと将来的な犠牲に感謝ですね。
Guess I ought to thank you both for your sacrifices. Fucking hell. Leaning his back on the experimental equipment, the young man spoke with a satisfied smile. Your Majesty, King Liam.
打破とのままでいいですよ。お二人は僕と同じ思想を持ってる大事で貴重なお友達ですから。
Oh, you can call me Donut. You two share the same goals as me, which makes you special friends. Liam, no. Donut continued to smile, the same friendly smile he always had. But now that we found out who he really is, his familiar, ever-present smile took on another meaning that chilled me to the core.
お友達？都合のいい道具の間違いだろ。
Friends? More like we're your handy tools. Adolf stepped forward to protect me.
あれだけ協力的だったのも俺たちを利用するための演技だったわけか。
You were only acting like you were helping so that you could use us.
やだな、演技なんかじゃないですよ。僕は心からお二人を好ましく思ってます。
Come on. I wasn't acting at all. I really do see you two as friends from the bottom of my heart.
けどたまたま本当に残念なことに偶然お二人が僕の願いを叶えるための材料たる条件を揃えていただけです。
But it just so happened that you two were what I needed to fulfill my dream. It was nothing but a coincidence.
同じ研究材料でもみっともなく死んだり蘇ったりしてる少年の腐った僕の親戚一同とは違います。
Even as test subjects, you'll be given better treatment than my rotten family, whose fate will be to die and revive over and over again. Donut slapped the glass surface of the tank, containing their lumps of flesh, as if to bring it to our attention the difference. In response to his showing of friendship, The only thing we could feel was increased vigilance.
おのれ、リアム。
How dare you, Liam?
そんなに母を殺した私たちが憎いというの。
You despise us this much just for killing your mother? A woman on the floor, covered in blood, somehow crawled and grabbed Donut's ankle. Donut looked down at her and blinked a few times.
いや、別にそこまでじゃ。
No, not really.
復讐心はあるにはありますが、優先順位的には3番目ぐらいですね。
I do have a desire for revenge, but it's about third on my list of priorities.
僕は他にも成し遂げなければならないことがあるので。
I have way more important things to accomplish before then.
っていうか、母様と似た声で呼ばないでくれます？虫図が走るんで。
Owen, can you not speak like my mother? It's irritating beyond belief. Donut spoke coldly and kicked off the princess's hand like it was dirt on his shoe. Adolf and I were both surprised by his response. If you're not doing this out of vengeance, why are you doing this?
見ての通り、実験のためですの。あとは強いて言えば、責務。
As you can see, it's all experimentation. I guess it's also because of my duty? Duty?
お二人はレイブ・ポワール家が国を支配するため、あえて呪いを解かず放置していることは知っていますよね。
Well, you both know by now that the Rivapara family purposefully ignored the curse in order to maintain power, right?
でも、実は彼らが呪いに触れたがらない理由がもう一つあったりするんですよ。
But truth be told, there is one other reason why they don't really want to touch the curse. Donut gleefully took out a small book from his clothes.
ノワージュ家の手記で呪いの正体に気づいた後ね、僕たまたま王族の男しか入れないもう一つの秘密の書庫を見つけたんです。
After learning the truth from the Niosh family's diary, I found an archive accessible only to men of the royal family.
そこに記された記録によれば、なんと
According to the records I found there, drum roll please.
このアルペシェールの土壌に死神の呪い、その原因である毒素を撒いたのは
The source of death's curse that spread toxins throughout Upper Chell.
他でもない、我らレイブ・ポワール家だったのです。
Was caused by none other than the Ripperflower family. Not too surprised. What? Donut happily began reading the contents of the book in his hand, as if reading us a fairy tale. Ooh, lore, yay. Hundreds of years ago, before this country was possessed by death, and even before this land was given the name of Arpachel, a great war took place that engulfed the world, and the island of Arpachel was targeted by one such aggressor of that war. But a small island with fewer than one with 10,000 inhabitants had no real means of defending their homeland. It was then that the ruling Ripperflower family created an invisible wall that would close off the country from the outside world. They went into developing biological weaponry. I had a feeling it was something like that. The toxic from, like, the development of weapons or chemicals used for warfare. One that would release a unique toxin that only affected humans around the country's borders to protect from invasion. But the development was a complete failure. The toxin was more virulent than expected and quickly spread across the country itself. The soil was so polluted that those who were exposed to the toxin suffered a mutation in their genes. Donna closed the book with a hearty "the end" to finish off the story.
そうか。
I see. Adolf had broken into a cold sweat.
万が一にもその真実を知られたら、王家の権威は落ち、国民からの反発も免れない。
Then why not just, put it in the loudspeaker at the moment when they were doing the public announcement? I'm sure there's reasons, but hey. If the information went public, the royal family would be overthrown by the people and lose their power.
最悪。反乱からの王家滅亡もあり得る。
The entire royal family would be killed. Well, we didn't have a large population. There were enough who would take up arms and overthrow the presiding power if needed. So they created a rumor that the toxins tainting the soil were the curse of death. And they spent years feeding that to the people until it became common knowledge.
人ならざる者。それも神の仕業だというなら、誰も文句のつけようがねえからな。
Makes sense, since people are less likely to complain about an act of nature.
ですです。それでもなお真実に迫ろうとする者が現れれば、その度殺し尽くしてきたっぽいですね。
Right. Still, some have tried to uncover the truth, and they were all assassinated by the royal family. So Queen Christine also fell victim to them. That's horrible. She was just doing her best to save the people.
ですよね。ひどいですよね。私欲のためにたくさんの人を殺した責任はちゃんと取らないと。
Really horrible, right? They need to take responsibility for killing so many because of their own greed.
なので、真実を隠そうとした王族全員、一斉に粛清してみました。
Which is why I decided to do away with every last royal who took part in hiding the truth.
死神が裁いてくれないのなら、正当な国王として、僕が裁いてあげるべきでしょ。
If Death wasn't going to judge them, isn't it my duty as the rightful king to bring them to justice? Donut's bearing changed, and the air seemed to shift around us.
なるほど。話だけ聞けば、確かにこいつらの自業自得だな。
I see. From what we heard so far, it's true that they deserve this.
だが、ここまでする必要はあったのか？
Yeah, that's my question too. But do you really need to go this far? Adolf said that it wasn't a matter of right and wrong.
お前の目的はバックアップを取り損ねた母親の完全なる復活。
Your objective is to revive your mother back to her original form as a normal human, despite not having her backup.
記憶のデータに関しては、ジャンが行っていた研究で人工的に作り出せるとしても。
Even if Jean conducted experiments and came up with the data to create an artificial memories,
記憶に適合する肉体がなければ意味がない。
You need a body that works with the memory you created.
カプシーヌの研究を使いゼロから作るとしてもベースになる素材ぐらいは必要だろう。
Of course, you can probably recreate your mother's body from scratch using Capuchin's research data, but
クリスティーヌ女王の血縁であるこいつらの遺伝子というな。
you need someone from Queen Christine's bloodline and use their genes.
わお、その通り。もしやちゃっかり生きてたシアンさんに教えてもらいました？
How? You're absolutely right. I bet Cyan told you everything since he's probably still alive and well.
それとも僕と同じ目的を持つジャンさんから教えてもらった感じです？
Or maybe Jean told you since you both had the same objective? He then joked that Lucas was supposed to be the teacher of the group. Donut began to chuckle at the idea.
あなたの言う通り試しはしましたよ。で
Like
も
he just said, I tried it out, but
どうも母様には覚醒遺伝、先祖返りのようなものが起きているらしくて。
it seems that my mother possesses an atavism from one of her ancestors that's not present in any of the living family members. Atavisms? Hmm.
同じ血縁者でもここにいる皆さんや僕ではその特殊な遺伝形質の代わりにはなれないんです。
So even though we're all part of the same bloodline, none of us here can replicate that particular genetic trait.
失われた女王本人の遺伝子でなければ成立しないってことか。
Which means you can't bring her back without having her actual genes.
その通り。だから本来この計画は
Precisely, which is why this plan has its risks.
呪いを解く方法と両立して母様の遺伝子を発見できなければ凍結する可能性すらあったんです。
I needed to find a way to get rid of the curse and find my mother's genes, or everything would come to a standstill.
でも母様の遺体は獣にでも食われたのか、いくら探しても見つからなくて、正直僕も諦めかけてたんですよね。
Then he found us. I searched everywhere for my mother's body, thinking maybe some animal ate her, but no luck. I was this close to giving up.
でも
But suddenly, Donut's eyes widened and sparkled as though he set his eyes on me. Donut waved his arm, and as if by some trick, the book he just read transformed into another book with a licorice drawn upon it.
墓荒らしをしてまで手に入れさせたイブさんことノアージュ家の始祖、第一の漂流者の記録。
This here is a book that was stolen from the Neosh family's grave, that was written by Yvez's ancestor, the Drifter.
ここに記されているリコリスの性質と全く同じ能力を持つあなたが僕の目の前に現れたことで状況が変わった。
Things suddenly changed when you appeared in front of me with the exact same power recorded in this book about the licorices. Me? Oh dear. Donna laughed and he said he would summarize.
あなたのアレロパシー能力が吸収するのは何も毒素だけじゃない。
Your physical trait of allelopathy can absorb toxins and more.
その通り。そしてあなたはあの黒き花園で生まれ落ちたことにより
Indeed, and you're unique that you were born in the black field of flowers.
リコリスと同じ土壌の毒素やその他の成分を宿すアレロパシー能力を持って生まれたのですよ。
In other words, similar to the licorices, you were born with the Allopathic power to absorb toxins from the soil.
ブローが回収したあなたの新鮮な血液からそれが明らかになったのです。
This was made clear when we examined samples of your blood that Barreau brought back to us.
大地に染み込んだ他のあらゆる成分も対象に含んでる。例えば、そうですね。
He's gonna use our body to bring back his mother, isn't he? Well, great. It seems your body is capable of absorbing a variety of compounds from the soil. For example,
あなたのその能力を利用すれば我らの遺伝子を汚染する毒素を取り除くことも不可能ではないと専門家が言っていましたよ。
by using your power, it would be possible for us to remove the toxins contaminating our genes, or so our resident expert says. Me? I'm supposed to be like a licorice niosh that weakens the effects of the curse?
その通りだ。調べさせてみたら驚いたぞ。
Indeed, I was surprised by the discovery myself.
あの忌まわしい女の死体を捨てた場所と全く同じ場所から我らの救いとなるものが現れるとはな。
To think our savior would be born in the same place where we disposed of that abominable woman.
母様が死に際にあの花畑に流した大量の血液の成分とか
You may have also absorbed compounds from my mother's blood that drenched the licorice field, perhaps. It can't be.
そう隠し書庫への道が開いたのもただの偶然や故障ではなく必然。
It could. Your ability to unlock that secret archive wasn't a coincidence or a malfunction.
あのシステムは正しく部屋の主母様の遺伝子に反応したんだ。
The system simply responded to the genes it had on file. In other words, my mother's genes. Which meant that I wasn't only related to the licorices, but also... You're telling me that I'm carrying the Queen's genes, even though we're not related by blood?
そんなデタラメなことが本当にありえるのか?
I can't seriously believe in nonsense like that.
あなたの友人のご先祖様が記した記録ですよ。信用してあげてくださいよ、アドルフさん。
But it's all according to what's recorded in your friend's ancestor's diary. Give him some credit, Adolf. He took one step. Donna stepped into a pool of blood in front of him. He took another step. Knowing what he was after now, we slowly moved back. Run. If there was even a trace of the Queen's genes in me, then...
それ以上こいつに近づいてみろ。たとえお前でも容赦しない。
Come any closer and I won't let you off easy. Even if it is you.
釣れないな。呪いを解く聖女にして女王復活のためのベースになれるんですよ。光栄なことじゃないです。
Come on. She'll become a real saint who lifted the curse and brought the Queen back to life. Isn't that a great honor? So you're gonna use us to get rid of the curse? He explained his plan after reviving Queen Christine. He would enhance my allelopathy through genetic modification and create clones of me and bury in the ground and absorb the toxins. He then planned on using Adolf's normal human cells as an antidote to the curse and encourage growth in reliver cells. Donut merrily explained his plans, which sounded like those of a mad scientist. I felt a bead of cold sweat run down my cheek. He now only saw me as a required sacrifice to resurrect the queen. If he captured me, the only thing left in my future would be testing and experiments that would turn me into another person. As Donut approached us, we slowly moved back one step at a time, preparing to run at any moment. Suddenly, a shadow appeared from above. Saraz! Adolf forcefully pulled on my arm and pulled me away from the spot. It's Lucas! No other people with giant blades. It's gotta be. From above, a giant blade came crashing down, destroying the laboratory's flooring. We somehow avoided the strike, but... Ah! Unable to bear the impact of the sudden tug on my arm, I accidentally let go of the capsule with Uncle's head inside. We tried to go after the capsule rolling away from us, but the killer with his halberd in hand stood in our way. Lucas! That is a good question. Is that him or one of his fakes? Making matters worse, the capsule found its way to Donut.
よいしょ。うっと。うわ、首だけなのに意外と重い。
There you go. Wow, you're pretty heavy, even if you're just the head. Donut picked up the capsule that rolled to his feet as he stood behind Barreau. Please return Anko to us. You don't really care about him.
そういうわけにはいきません。この人が貴重な検体であることには変わりませんからね。
Oh, now that I can too. After all, it doesn't change the fact that he's a very rare specimen.
それと個人的に、アドルフさんにはこれ以上ひどい実験をしたくないんで。
Besides, I personally don't want to conduct any more horrific experiments on Adolf.
彼を代わりにすることで見逃してあげてもいいですよ。
You know, you can go free if you leave him with me.
冥界から来た存在が人間である俺の代わりになるわけねえだろ。
Like someone from Hades could replace a normal human like me. He's right. He can only regenerate because he's taking the form of a human.
冥界？あれ？もしかして何もご存じない感じです？
Hades, huh? Don't tell me you two don't know yet.
二人の遺伝子を比較したら面白いことになってたんで、てっきり生き別れの何かだと。
I compared your genes for the fun of it. And let's just say the results were interesting. It became Adolf's turn to be confused by Donut's odd response.
まあいっか。僕の目的には関係ないでしょうしね。
Oh well. Not like it changes my objective or anything.
とにかく、彼はちゃんとあなたの代わりとして機能するんです。
Anyway, just believe me when I say he's a suitable replacement for you.
だから、残る研究素材、リコリスの聖女様を僕にください。お兄さん。
All I ask now is for her older brother's blessing. I humbly ask for the Lycoris Saint's hand. hearing his proposal.
調子に乗るなよ、クソガキ。
That's as far as you go, you damn brats. I heard something snap inside him.
え？何を統治者気取りして自分を正当化してんだ。
Using your position as ruler to justify doing whatever he wants?
矢面に立たず他者に手を汚させた時点でお前もそこの王族たちと同罪だろうが。
Scheming in secrets? While having others do your dirty work for you makes you no different than the royal family.
被害者なら何をしても許されると思ったか。
Just because you were a victim, now you think you can victimize others? Adolf expressed his anger without taking a breath.
こっちはリライバー技術と呪いの剣だけでもついていくのが精一杯だってのに。
We're fed up with this godforsaken reliver technology and the curse.
お前が計画して起こした犯罪や研究は火事だとか善悪以前に何もかもが恐ろしくておぞましいんだよ。
We've had it with your plans and all the disgusting crimes you committed. I don't care what your intentions are.
これ以上命をいじる意味のわかんねえ技術で俺とこいつを振り回すな。
Listen clearly. You're not dragging us into these stupid experiments that prove you have no respect for life at all. Adolf? He wasn't trying to convince him to go about it a different way. He also wasn't focusing on the fact that Donna betrayed us. Adolf was simply criticizing the hypocrisy present in Donna's own belief system. Donna was initially taken back, but... The moment he finally understood what he was told, his shoulders began to shake.
あなたってほんと面白い。
You really are funny. He began to laugh like a madman. But he wasn't showing any malice or hatred toward Adolf.
でもそうだ。その言葉をずっと私は聞きたかった。
But you're right. That's what I've wanted to hear all along.
お前のそのいかなる死も正当化しない心がこの国の民に欲しかった。
I wish the people of this country had your same attitude and mindset toward life and death. He looked at him with pure respect.
命を限りあるものとして尊び、理不尽な死や生の操作を恐れることのできる素晴らしき人間性。
Humanity is at its peak when people respect each other's lives and look beyond the fear of death that drives them mad.
それが私が母から教わった心。そして蘇らせる母に与えたいもの。
Your beliefs are the beliefs of my mother, and what I want her to regain when she revives. He spread his arms wide and raised his voice.
アドルフ、お前こそがやはりこの国で唯一の普通の人間で。
Love, you are indeed the only true human in this country.
私こそがこの国で最も狂った人間なのだろう。
And in this country, I am the most insane.
ああ、心の底から羨ましい。
I'm so envious.
私も誰かに襲われることなく生まれながらにそんな心を抱いてみたかった。
If I'd been born like you, I wouldn't need to be taught what you've just shown us.
気が変わった。母の素材も必要だが、アドルフ、 私はもっとお前と
I've
普
changed
通
my
に
mind.
ついて問答してみたい。
My mother's genes are important. But I want to talk to you more about what normal means, Adolf. I don't know if this is good or bad.
彼女と共に足の一本でも切り落として逃げられなくしてでも
Okay, I think it's bad. Even if I have to cut off your legs and hers so that neither of you can escape. That's not normal. Lesson 1. Cutting off people's legs so they can't escape is not normal. I gasped at the threat that he made so easily, but... Donut's words were interrupted by a pulse echoing throughout the laboratory. The only ones here were the royal family and the rest of us facing each other. Donut looked around surprised by the unexpected sound when suddenly... With a burst, the capsule Donut held in his arms expanded from the inside and swelled into a large mass of flesh. Uncle? Just as Donut's eyes widened, Anko's upper torso completely regenerated.
やったな。本格的に化け物じゃないですか。
Yeah, you really are a monster.
何、心まで化け物になり果てた君には負けるさ。
Come now. Your wicked heart makes you even more of a monster.
あの男ばかりを警戒していたものだから油断していたよ。
I was only ever watchful of him, so you caught me off guard.
まさか君のような前にはいなかった傑物が生まれてくるとは。
I never expected someone like you to gain such prominence when you did not exist before. Completely awake, Anko's mash of flesh slowly wrapped around Donut's small neck. But before he could choke him, Barreau swiftly moved to save the master, slicing Anko's flesh away. Anko's body flew into the air, and before it could land, fully regenerated back into form. Adolf and I rushed over to him, surprised to see him standing without a scratch. Anko, I'm so glad you're back to your old self. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to celebrate.
ああ、これはダメだね。
This is no good.
おそらく写しみ、偽物だろうが、彼には勝てない。彼女を連れて逃げることを勧める。
I assume he is merely a clone, but I'm still unable to defeat him. I suggest you take her and make your escape.
言われなくてもそのつもりだ。というか、そんなことができるなら、もっと早く起きろ、寝ぼすけ。
You don't have to tell me. But if you could regenerate, you shouldn't have had her carry you, you lazy ass. Adolf stomped on the puddle of blood between us and Barreau, blocking his vision with a spray of red. In that moment, Anko took my hand and held it tightly.
すまなかったね、姫君。私のために随分な苦労をかけてしまったようだ。
I'm very sorry, dear princess. It seems you have gone through much trouble for me.
この手を決して離さないように。今度は私が君を助け導こう。
I will not let go of your hands. This time, I will guide you to safety. Okay. Run! As Adolf led the way, Anko and I followed behind him. I couldn't run very quickly because of the water dragging me down.
焦る必要はない姫君。地上に出れなくても奴らを負けさえすればいい。
No need to fret, princess. Even if we do not reach the surface, escaping them will suffice. Okay. But Lucas, his clone is on Donut's side, so they'll catch up to us eventually.
こうなったら二手に分かれるか。
In that case, we should split up.
一人がおとりになって追っ手を引きつけ、残る一人がこいつを抱えて逃げる。
One of us will act like bait, and the other will carry her and make a run for it.
それしかないね。君に彼女を任せるのは尺だが、ここは私がおとりになろう。
I suppose if we must. While I loathe the thought of leaving her to you, I shall act as bait. Anka released my hand from his, saying that he could revive even if he was killed, and gently nudged me toward Adolf. Remember how I said we probably won't go long tonight? I just noticed it's been 7 hours. Although I don't know how much of the game we have left. I don't want to... Oh. Should we save it for next week? The rest of it? You know what, but let's save it for next week. Because 7 hours is already quite a lot. So let's... Yeah, we saved. Yep, there we go. Chapter 6. Whew! Dang. We're so only used to having like 3 chapters. Maybe 4. We've never had 5 or 6 chapters, so... For all we know, there could be a chapter 7, so... You know, let's stop here. And we will resume this next week. And finish off the story. Or at least, the Lost Salute part of the story next week. Also give my voice a rest because I'm starting to stumble over my words. I cannot speak. So, with that said, we will end it here. So, very exciting, very, I mean, I knew it was coming, but I'm still very sad. Because I really like Donuts. I really like Donut. He was a sweetie pie. He was best side character. And then he wasn't. But it only made sense. Being such a relevant character and not having and only being like not having like a permanent you know, position in the story. I mean, he could be just like, hey, the scientist that helps us out. But, I mean, that didn't feel right. Because he would be the only side character that's of lots of relevance that isn't evil. At the beginning, there's like Jean, Cappuccine, Donut. Actually, no, Hugo. Hugo's not evil, so. But it just... It made too much sense for him to be the antagonist. From everything we had put together thus far. It made too much sense. Everything made too much sense. I don't know if I should be happy that I was right, or if I should be, depressed that I was right. I feel more depressed than I am happy that I was right. But I have an idea for a little video to put on TikTok now. I'll have to put a spoiler warning. Bad judgments. But yeah, we learned a lot of things today. A lot more insight in the history of the country, how everyone plays a part, how everything is being put together. Very fun, very interesting. I like having my questions answered, and the satisfaction of having the pieces be put together. I am so happy that Cyan and Mathis were alive. As I actually was so sad that they were actually dead. I was starting to become convinced that they actually were dead. So I'm at least happy for that. That made things a little better. I can survive now. But we still don't know if Lucas is alive or not. That is one thing that is still a mystery. Hopefully we'll find out. We'll probably find out next time, next stream, if Lucas is still alive or not, and where Nadia is. Yes, there we go. That was our stream for today. So thank you everyone who came by to hang out. Sorry for screaming in your ear a couple of times. Very much apologize about that. I never will admit this first. That was the first. That was the first. But yes. My husband and my child are alive. I couldn't ask for more. I could not ask for more. I mean, I could, but... and I kind of did. But it's what I'm allowed, so hey. Not to say that Yves is important, because he is a sweetie pie, a pure being. But they're special. I don't know why, but they're special. It's weird, I don't know. But yes. So hopefully we'll be able to finish this next week. At least, you know, the whole main This means the first playthrough of the whole story. The story finale. There we go. So we'll aim to do that tomorrow. Not, goddammit, not tomorrow. Aim to do that next week. And we'll be going next week, we'll be going back to having this on Thursdays. But. No. I'm losing it. But I think we're very close. I think we're very, very close to the end. I just hope we're not like... I doubt we're like 5 minutes from the end. That would be too convenience. It didn't feel like we were 5 minutes from the end, but I could be wrong. We'll find out next week. But that will be it for now, for today. And I'll be back Friday. Yes, Friday. I'll be back Friday with Twisted Wonderland. And then Saturday with Solo Leveling and a stream where we just talk. I'm scared. So, thank you again for everyone who came by and everyone who watched. I hope to see you all again here at some point. I enjoy having everyone here. But that'll be it for now, because it is late and I do need to go to bed. And my voice is starting to fail on me. So that'll be exciting, but I hope everyone has a nice night, morning, afternoon, evening. And if you haven't played the game, just like RiceBits did, go out and buy it and, you know, give it a check through. Give it a look-see. It's good. I really am enjoying this game. Anyway, good night everyone. I'll see you again sometime.